it's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day and day 2 in Del Mar, and we are breaking ground on the Tapestry. I wanted you to see the guys actually starting to work on installation. You'll notice, hey Kevin, if you want to hold that plant up, see how we took off better than 50% of the soil. You don't need to dig a hole that deep unless you're just really into digging holes, okay? 50% gone, root, soil, the whole 9 yards. Don't work that hard. Pro tip. Especially the Cameronii, because this is one that turns really, really red with stress. So we want to make sure that we distress it, yell at it, scream at it, tell it it's adopted, and I can say that because I am. You know, whatever you have to do to get it to turn color. Okay. So what I've done first is this Vicarnia recurvata, well, it's actually 2. These were in the backyard, and they weren't really great where they were. They didn't look that hot, and we were kind of agonizing over what to plant as our thriller in this tapestry, because I'm also thinking borrowed landscape too. You know, I've got to take into consideration the tapestry here in the shade that has that gorgeous speciosa in it. Then I've got, you know, this dynamic Dracaena Draco over here, and you know, I wanted something that carried a little bit of weight but that wasn't going to take over the world and the walkway. So we decided on the Vicarnia recurvata. I'm really happy with that, and then I'm just building out around it. Another challenge that we had in this area was the client being able to access her hose. She was very concerned about that. So what we're going to do is grab some flagstones, and we're going to make a little flagstone path back here so that she has really, really easy access to get to the hose. Beyond that, I've just staged the 5-gallon foundations. I've got the cotyledon long fingers, the blue plants. I've got Crassula ovata, Gollum. I've got Crassula undulata. And see, this is all part of the stressing process. See how Luke is just beating the crap out of this plant? Yeah. Get it. Get it. You just tell it. I am your daddy. This Aloe Apache, look at that gigantic bloom stalk. How fantastic is that? So I just pulled plants that I thought were really compatible, that were interesting, that kind of played off each other with variations in color and texture, and that had very similar growth habits too. So, oh, a butterfly. So that, you know, that was the idea first. Then after I get done with all of the foundation stuff weaving through the middle, we will go into planting some of the smaller 1-gallon cutesy tootsy specimens after that. All right, taking you on back, this bed here and this bed here, Greg and Gordon are working on pulling out all of this poly flex line, and we're installing subterranean drip, a line in the front, a line in the back, and this is area where Shelley just wants to have specimen plants. So that's what's happening back here. You can see where they've gotten started. We've made a horrible mess, which is awesome. What do you think? Our Aloe Bainesii from Caesar from Sun Valley Nurseries. Isn't that stunning? So, am I going to underplant this with more plants? I vote no. I vote just to put some really pretty decorative pebble under there and call it a day. Our client likes to stage some of her collectibles on this little retainer too, so that just be overkill. Don't even suggest it. Okay, then back here, the guys have planted the Aloe Ferox. Looks phenomenal, excellent placement. And then we've got our 4-legged Dracaena Draco over there staged. That's likely going to be its home. We're going to have Shelley sign off on that before we do the sinking. All right, so I also ended up making additional edits on this tapestry. The longer I'm on site, the more the ideas pop around. And it occurred to me that the Ruchia and the orange sedum that was here was just too orange and too Ruchia-y. I mean, just, it was too much. So I took the Ruchia out and I popped in this beautiful Echeveria Sea Dragon. This was one of the prettiest ones I had seen in a really long time, and I didn't have the heart to plant it over in our new tapestry in the sun. I really thought it would be a lot happier here with the bright, you know, direct / indirect light in this part of the garden. And then I replaced the orange Sedum Adolphe with a new baby one. And it just looks so buttoned up. You know, I'm just much, much happier with this. Disregard these plants. They're not part of this design. They're just out of the way for now. I also moved. I talked about that. That's right. So the Ruchia got placed right here, which, you know, makes me really happy. I'm happy about that. Hannah and I and Luke have been working on this tapestry area. We're not done yet, but, you know, we have made a significant dent in it. Check out this Euphorbia Herita, the Snowflake. This plant was actually in this bed, as was this agave. We took them out, you know, so we could bring in soil and boulders and then restaged them. This is super stressed. When I dug it out of the ground, it had very few roots and it was dry as a bone. So it's going to get the subterranean drip irrigation now and just, you know, I think come to life and be a lot happier. Then, you know, this part of the garden is also really important visually. So we still have some work to do in here. But I put that orange sedum back there, and that filled that space in nicely. I want, you know, I don't want to plant right up against the house, but I just feel like this is still a little light. So we're getting it all worked out and dialed in, but plenty more to do tomorrow. The drip that is being installed to replace that poly line, you can see there are holes in this line. Unlike the other that was just a solid line and then had goof plugs with little drippers coming out of the holes, we just wanted a consistent flow of water because we are always reinventing this garden space. So this subterranean drip is a far better, more efficient way to irrigate Shelly's garden. Oh, look at this little Herita. This is the same plant we just looked at out front, but it's just a baby. Then Kevin over here, wow, Kevin, beautiful, has been working really hard on revitalizing the table planter. This was done 3 years ago and it was a hot mess, and some of the things needed to come out. Some of them just needed to be zhuzhed or fluffed, and he's figuring it out. See, he's pulling some things out by the roots, other things he's just trimming back and resetting. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Then we had this gorgeous Ferox that Kevin planted in this blue pot. I love this. And no, this won't stay here forever, but it will be fine in here for a few years. Meanwhile, you know, we'll do something else in the area where we pulled it from in the terrace, because it was definitely going to be too big in here. Luke pulled out a number of Sansevieria over here that were all run-amucky, as well as that weird yucca-y looking grassy hot mess. And this has just opened up some space for me to bring in some of my specimen plants. We're going to be reworking her pots too. Look at this aloe distans. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Oh, yeah. It's, I mean, have you ever seen one that size, Han?
No, the stress is really pretty too, the color, it's kind of purple.
And I love its bloom, the distans bloom. So,
like little fireworks.
This is really cool, but you guys, I mean, look at this. I don't love that, right? I just, I'll have to think long and hard on that, but I think that this is going to be definitely in need of a major overhaul. So, little surprise, looky what finally came.
Yay.
UPS. It is our silver play button for reaching 100, or surpassing 100 1,000 subscribers on the tube.
Can you get it?
I'm gonna try. Let me open this thing so we can all look at it together.
Can you hold it?
Okay.
Got it?
Wow, fancy, guys. Fancy. So, obviously, I would like to thank the Academy and Jesus, my agent, all of my co-stars, all of you, YouTube, for providing not only this beautiful milestone, but for providing a platform where we can all come together to share our love of these amazing plants. We have a collective following of over 100,000 people that are good. There's a lot of power in that, you guys, and we are here for it, and we thank you for that. This is a safe place where we can all come together in love and in sharing. You guys are so smart, and you're so helpful and so supportive, and we just thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we love you, and we will be sure to hang this someplace great.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Team DFS. Thank you, subscribers. Thanks, everybody. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with Day 2, your succulent tip of the day, and the silver play button. Bye, guys.